Happy Friday. What's up, everybody? This is kind of random. Woke up early again. Who'd have thunk it? Is the lighting okay in here? I forgot to charge my little light. Too late for that now. Oh well. Anyway, I'm a little far from the... Let me scoot this table closer to me. Well... Oh, this thing's heavy. Ugh. Okay, it don't want to move. Never mind. I don't want to mess nothing up. Okay. Anyway, hello, everybody. Hello. I got up early again this morning, man. Got up early again. I think it's because I took yesterday as a rest day. I'm starting to kind of see a pattern with my sleep and my fitness, you know. Whenever I work out hard, I crash and sleep in, you know. And yeah, I've been pushing and pushing and pushing, pushing and pushing with my fitness. I don't want to make this all about fitness. I don't know if y'all even care to hear about that. I know I talk about that a lot, but I have been pushing and pushing and pushing, you know. Every time I start getting comfortable, push to the next level. Then when that starts getting easy and comfortable, push to the next level. And now it's getting pretty high intensity. So whenever I work out, man, I crash and I'm out all night. And yesterday I went ahead and took a rest day because I hurt my back working out. I think I legitimately sustained my first injury, but I don't think it's like major. I still feel a little bit of pressure in my lower back. Still feel a little bit, but oh well, it's all good. So I went ahead and took yesterday as a rest day. So I'm guessing that's the reason why I'm up early this morning. I got up at 4:30 and my brain can tell. You know, I'll wake up and I have to pee or something and my brain can tell time to get up. You know, I can tell, I can feel it. No, it's time to go back to sleep and I'll get back in bed and I'll be out in 30 seconds to a minute, you know? Nope, this morning it was like, bing, time to get up. There's that little extra layer of consciousness that's like, I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Don't know how to explain it, but anyway, I figure I'd hop on here and see what y'all are up to. Y'all know me. For those of you who are new to this channel, I hop on here with nothing in particular to talk about. I don't really have back when I very first started doing this, I would have a topic in mind or a couple of things to maybe mention or talk about. Not anymore. Not anymore. I come on here with a completely blank slate. You know, I have nothing on my mind particularly. So anyway, yep, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Good and well rested. So it's the weekend. The weeks are flying by. It's already September. I know I mentioned this in the last couple of videos, but I'm just counting down the days till it starts getting cool out there. Count down the days, man. And I know I touched on this, I think in the last chat, that it's so funny. I didn't even think about that before I said that in the last chat. But after that, I started thinking, you know what? That is kind of weird that any other place I've ever lived, you know, we're always counting down the days till summertime. You know, and then summertime, yeah, and then wintertime approaches and you're like, oh, fuck. What's the opposite here? It's the opposite here. And then that kind of dawned on me. I kind of had an epiphany that it's like, no matter where you go, part of the year is going to be enjoyable and the other part of the year is not, you know? And here it's the summer. It's not really all that enjoyable. Not really. It is hot, boy. And like I said, don't get me wrong, I am adjusting to it, you know? It's not like my very first summer in the desert that just shocked me, you know? I'm getting more adjusted to it. It doesn't overtake me. I'm not like, dying outside, but it isn't comfortable. It's not comfortable, you know, walking around outside with that. It just feels like you're in an oven, dude. You know, it's not comfortable. Walking from the car to the front door of the store, you know, it's not comfortable. You're like, whoo, let me get inside real quick. Whoo, and then you get in there and then that AC hits you and you're like, yes, you know. But if you like fall weather, I know I've said this a few times, but if you like fall weather, You'll love the wintertime here in like Vegas and in the desert. You know, I love it. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. We got a few of you up in here. What's up, Enchanted Cottage? Howdy doody. We got a few of you up in here. Thanks, y'all, for tuning in. But yep, that's what I'm counting down the days to where we can just crack all the windows open in the house and that cool, crisp, kind of like it doesn't really smell like fall, you know, like when you can smell the dead leaves and stuff. But there is a certain crisp smell to the cold air that you still get here, you know. And I'm looking forward to that. But we actually, honestly, probably have. Let's see, what is it? September the 10th. So we probably have another 2 months before it really starts getting good and chilly. I don't remember last year. I think it was still pretty warm on Halloween last year. I think. Yeah, we all love fall, don't we? Yeah. We all love that fall weather. I've never met anybody that doesn't. Everybody's always looking forward to jeans and hoodies, you know. But like I said, thankfully, it's not here. Wintertime is not like blistering cold. Now, I think it is to the locals. I think that may be the way the locals experience it, because you do still see some people walking around Vegas and whatnot during the wintertime, bundled up, boy. I mean, you know what I mean? Bundled up, like they're about to freeze to death. And maybe the longer I'm here, you know, of course, like I said, I don't even know if we're staying here or how long. I don't even know. But maybe if we do end up staying here long term, I'll eventually end up adjusting to that as time goes on. But so far, I'm still like, yeah, whatever, man. I'll never forget the first time. Y'all remember I lived in Phoenix for like a month or two or something like that. And I flew in from Cleveland, and it was December. I think it was it was somewhere around the end of December in there. And I flew in from Cleveland, Ohio, where there was ice and snow all over the ground. And it was like maybe 60 degrees in Phoenix. And everybody is bundled up, boy, with their winter coats on and shit. And I'm not. I'm in jeans and a shirt, and people are looking at me going, "Oh my God, aren't you fucking freezing?" And I'm like, no. No, I just flew in from Cleveland, where there's ice and snow all over the ground, you know? And it's very similar here, but it's a little bit warmer here. The temperature difference between like Vegas and just Bullhead City, Arizona, which is like an hour and a half south of here. The temperature difference is astronomical, you know? So it's actually a lot worse in Arizona though. But anyway, that's what I'm looking forward to. And then like I said the last time too, we're gonna set the clocks back. Looking forward to that. Even though no, I don't think it makes any sense, and I don't agree with it. You know, I think it's a stupid programming mechanism. It's still, you know, it's that time of year, and it just gets you in the mood for that change. Get you in the mood for that change. You know what I mean? So plus you get that extra hour of sleep. Mm-hmm. Horseback riding. Oh man, I ain't done that in a long time. I've done that once. I was a kid in Arizona when we took our trip to the Grand Canyon. I was 11 years old. This was in the summer of 1999. I was 11 years old. And we spent a week in Arizona. And that was the furthest I'd ever been away from home. You know what I mean? So it was a pretty mind-boggling trip for me when I was a little kid. And we rode horses in the desert. And it hurt my ass so bad I couldn't walk. I remember that. I do remember I had a very difficult time walking for like a week after that. It hurt my ass so bad sitting on that horse. It was a big long horse ride. It was like 2 hours. Big old 2-hour tour, horse tour, you know what I mean? And yeah. Back into horses. There you go. A lot of people where I'm from were into them. Well, like I said, I'm originally from the Louisville, Kentucky area. You best bet your ass they into horses over there. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, just a few months before I left Kentucky, I spent a good little stretch of time living right across the street from Churchill Downs. I lived right across the street from it. you know. It was in a little hostel. I had me a little room in a hostel. Right directly across the street, I could look over there and spit in the Churchill Downs parking lot, you know. And the roommate that I had at the time, she was the first roommate that I ever had coming straight up off the streets. You know, I met her at the place that I started working, and we just kind of started rooming together. We were coworkers, and it was just like, hey, you wanna team up so we can find a new place to live or whatever. And we roomed together for close to a year, 6 months, something like that. And we ended up at right there before we parted ways. We were right across the street from Churchill Downs, and she ended up getting a job there. She was real into horses too, so she got a job there, and then she ended up staying there and living there, because when you work there and you work with the horses and whatnot, then you live there. You live there at Churchill Downs. So she got her own little room and shit there. And so far, I'm friends with her on Facebook, and it looks like she's still very much into that lifestyle. It never really interested me. I never really thought it was too interesting, but oh yeah, I can't really say I understand it, but I have been around the people who are very passionate about horses. Oh yeah. Man, that damn Kentucky Derby, boy. Derby Day in Louisville, where it happens. Oh fuck, man, dude. And I worked, like I said, I spent the majority of my adult life working out there at the airport. So every year there would be a section at the airport where all the celebrities would fly in and park their jets, you know. And it was pretty cool to see. But oh yeah, man, Derby Day rolls around there in Louisville. It's fucking popping. It's time to go. You know what I mean? Everything. I mean, it seems like the whole damn city, at least downtown, is like shut down and crowded, packed, and you got all the celebrities showing up to watch a damn horse race. It never caught my interest. It never caught my interest. You know, about the only other thing that I ever saw there that was bigger than that was Muhammad Ali's funeral. I was there for that. That was huge. That was huge, because they did this big tour with his casket all through Louisville. And then one of the roads, I worked right at the cross street of one of the roads that his funeral toured down. You know what I mean? I was at work that day, and during lunch break, when we all went up to get some food, we went to the store that was right on the street where they were coming down. You know, and you saw all the emergency vehicles coming down, and a helicopter was flying. A helicopter was following it too. It was the craziest, weirdest shit we've ever seen. We're like, whoa, you know. But anyway, yeah, I was there for that too. Anyway, I kind of trailed off there. Trailed off there a little bit, but anyway, what y'all up to? What y'all up to? I'm a nature lover too, man. Leah's in bed. I let her sleep in. She's in bed. She's not an early bird, not really. She doesn't really like getting up in the mornings. She's in bed. I'm an early bird. I get up. This is my me time. You know, my morning times is my me time. That's another reason why I like to get up early and I don't like sleeping in. One of the many reasons. I mean, I just like watching the sun come up, so I feel like I pretty much get the whole day's experience in. But I also like getting my little me time to myself in the morning. You know, I assign myself some me time every single day, or I try to at least. You know, and yeah. She likes to sleep, and I don't. As soon as my brain pops open, I'm up, man. I'm up. I got a lot of work to do today. Somebody, let me see if I remember hearing this right. Somebody bought like 5 readings. You know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't even understand it. And Leah was telling me, she was like, somebody paid for 5 readings. I'm like, one person paid for 5 readings? What? You know, she said, yeah. I was like, holy shit, how am I going to do this? So I got a pretty busy day ahead of me. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. It's pretty interesting. You know, I don't know if it's going to be one big long ass video or if I'm going to do it in parts and like part 1, part 2, part 3 or something. I don't even really know how I'm going to do this. So that's what my day is going to consist of, probably, is doing 5 readings for one person, you know, and any other that may have came through. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, here's the funny thing about that vice versa tarot deck. When I very first started reading tarot, I was living up in Maine, and I had a P.O. box, and people started saying, leave us your P.O. box, in case anybody wants to send you a gift or something like that. So I said, okay. So I had my P.O. box, I think in the description of my videos, and somebody kept sending me that deck. And two fucking separate times somebody sent me that deck, and nobody would own up to who it was. Nobody would tell me. I would say, who sent me this? Let me know. I appreciate it. Crickets. Nobody would own up to who sent it to me. And then I at the time was intimidated by it. I was like, man, I can't read with this. That's too much. So I never ever used it. Here's the funny thing. Let's see. That was in about September, October, December, January, February. About 3 or 4 months later, one other YouTube tarot card reader started coming to my channel and harassing me, accusing me of stealing their content, which I found really, really strange because I didn't even know who the hell this person was. This person never even hit my radar. I didn't even know who they were. Never even heard of them until they showed up on my channel, accusing me of like stealing their content and whatnot. And I'm like, huh? So I get in and I get to digging through it, and I'm like, this person's fucking crazy. Because, I mean, you know what I mean? You look at them and you look at me, and we're nowhere even near resembling what I do is like nothing like what this person does, like at all. So I'm like, this person's fucking cuckoo or something. Then I started noticing this person uses that deck, and I'm like, and I still don't know. I still don't really know. But I was like, that would be awful weird. It'd be awful weird if that person was sending me that deck to try to set me up so that they could say that I was stealing their content and trying to copy them and whatnot. You know what I mean? At one point in time, that was a real big issue in the tarot community, Other tarot card readers trying to, pick and poke at other readers and say, oh, you're stealing my content and you're copying me and stuff like that. At one point in time, that was a really big issue at one point in time, And that was the very first person and every time I see that vice versa tarot deck, I think about that. You know what I mean? Is that what happened? I don't know, but I just found that to be a very strange coincidence that two times I got sent that deck in the mail and was very public about it. Like, who sent me this? Write me either on Facebook or email me or something. Tell me who sent me this. Nobody would own up to it. And then that happened, and I'm like, huh? And I still wonder. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I'm not going to drop this person's name. They're not an unsuccessful reader. They had a decent size 100,000 subscriber channel. I'm like, there's either something seriously wrong with this person's brain, or they're trying to set me up. Because my channel was obviously bigger than theirs at the time, and maybe that pissed them off. So they were trying to set me up and make it look like I was, you know what I mean? So every time, to answer your question directly, no, I've never used it. I've never used it before, but I have had a couple of copies of it that I've played around with, and I was just like, man, that's just too much. That's too much, you know what I mean? That's too damn much, man, So, anyway. JP, I don't even know what y'all talking about, but anyway, so no, I've never really actually used it on video. I never have. It was just too damn much, you know what I mean? It was just too damn much. So, anyway. Yes, report the scammers. There's a reason why I don't respond to that anymore, y'all. I've made many videos responding to that. I've made it very, very clear, and I say it at the beginning of every single video. My inbox is flooded every fucking day with people telling me about the scammer. I get it. Just please report them, okay? That's all I can say about that. I'm not responding to that anymore. I'm not giving that idiot any more. Leah had a little heart-to-heart with that person. you know, and this supposedly this person needs money because his sister has cancer or something like that, you know. I'm not feeding it any more energy or any more attention. I greatly appreciate y'all coming to me. Please report them, okay? I'm done with that. I'm done with that. Anyway, so no, I've been thinking though, because every time I get kind of bored with my tarot decks, every time I get a little bit bored with them, I start looking through. I'll go to like Etsy and type in tarot cards, and that damn vice versa deck always comes up. And I've thought about maybe incorporating it. But with me, the way that I read, I don't care what deck it is. I read with every single deck the exact same way. You know, people would always ask me, what's the difference between the Eight of Swords in this deck and the Eight of Swords in this deck? To me, nothing. I don't give a damn what that book says. I don't care what that book says. I read them all the same way, you know. So if I was to use that deck, I would probably, for those of you who don't know what the vice versa deck is, I'll go ahead and explain it to you. It's very complicated. So say for example, hang on. I don't have a copy, but say for example, this is it. And you have the Knight of Cups, okay? It has the Knight of Cups here, and then you flip the card around, and it has the other side of the picture of the Knight of Cups. You know? It's like, it's the picture from this side. It's the same picture, but it's the picture from the other side. You know what I mean? And it's just like, whoa. And the other side of the card, depending on how it comes out, has a totally different meaning. First of all, I'm like, well, how? The way I shuffle, the cards are only going to come out one way anyway. So how the hell are you supposed to shuffle this thing? I would imagine that the only way, like if you're really going to use that deck to its full potential, is, you know, until the cards fly out, which I'm not really a big fan of the flyers. You know, sometimes like that one just fell on my lap. You know, I wouldn't even know how to go about reading with that thing. But I've thought about, should I get that anyway? And I'll just read it. I wouldn't even be reading it vice versa. I'd be, you know, because you got to learn a whole new bunch of meanings. A whole new bunch of meanings. Like the backsides of every single card have their own fucking meaning. That's too much, man. To me, that's just a little bit much. You don't know how my tarot journey was like started by me. I shit you not, sitting down with the Tarot of Dreams. That's the one that is responsible for my career. I sat down with the Tarot of Dreams and that guidebook and crammed for like 8-9 hours in one day. Seriously, that's what did it right there. I spent maybe the previous month or two with a couple of different decks. I got this little, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Thoth deck or whatever. I got that one, wasn't really feeling it. Took some notes on it and wasn't really feeling it. Then I got the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot, sat and studied that, and I had my little notebook. I was taking notes and stuff. Still wasn't really feeling it. And then I got that Tarot of Dreams, and that one just yelled at me. At the little spiritual store where I was living, it yelled at me. And I had to go ahead and get it. And I just sat there one day and crammed with the little bit of knowledge that I kind of had, you know, or taking the notes and trying to learn all the cards. And I studied a couple of decks before, so I had a little bit of understanding. That one day I just sat with that deck and the guidebook and read every card. Had the card, looked at it, read the whole damn thing. Next page, next card. I sat there for, no shit, I shit you not, like 8 straight hours and crammed. And then that's when, bam. So at the time, I was thinking, dude, I literally just got done cramming all this information for the cards in my head. I'm not doing that again to the backsides of these cards. I'm not doing that, man. I was like, I'm not doing it. That's just way too much, you know? Way too much. Way too much. So, anywho. How often do I buy new decks? Not nearly as often as I used to. Not nearly as I used to, like fucking every time I'd start shuffling funny. You know what I mean? I'd get a deck as soon as it would stick one time. Put it aside, buy a new deck. You know, and at that point I was doing a lot of giveaways on my channel too, you know. And I remember I think I did a giveaway for my 50,000 subscriber milestone my 100,000, my 150,000. Did I do one for my 200,000? I think I did. I don't remember. But I would start giving them away for my subscriber milestones. Then, this year sometime, I said to myself, you know what? And I told you all the story that made me really start thinking about this. The story was, for those of you who haven't heard me tell it, was that we were downtown on the strip. Me, Leah, and the kids it was like maybe a Saturday. It was a weekend, I'm pretty sure. And we were just spending the day on the strip, walking around on the strip in Vegas. And for those of you who have ever been to Vegas, you can fucking you could do that fucking for 3 days straight and still not see and do everything there is to do down there. But we were spending just walking around, going to the malls, going into the stores. And there was this little lady with a booth set up, sitting there reading cards on the strip. And I noticed it and I saw it. And I know how Leah is. Leah's very social. Leah is a social butterfly. I'm not. So I was like, oh fuck, I hope she doesn't walk up to this lady. Sure enough, there she goes. Boom, who I want a reading, or whatever. And I'm like, oh shit, damn, I got to talk to somebody now. And then she actually turned out to be a subscriber though. And like I've told you all a million times, if I know you're a subscriber, I'm not going to be weird to you, So she goes, I saw you all and I was hoping that you would walk up here because I've been watching him for a long, long time. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. She goes, will you do me a favor and give me a reading? And I was like, absolutely, So I can't not. She's got a deck of cards on her right there. And she's acted like she was a really loyal follower. So I was like, absolutely, So I sat down and she handed me this fucking deck, dude. And it was one of these. It was one of these. It was just an old traditional with this pattern on the back. And this motherfucker, she said this deck is 45 years old. And I'm like holding it, scared I'm gonna break it, just holding it. I'm like, can I shuffle this the way I shuffle? You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, they're 45 years old. I've been reading with them for 45 years. And I'm like, holy shit. Every card was like, I don't even know how to describe it. They were big and poofed out. You know what I mean? And they were just, I was afraid they were going to fall apart in my hands because they were so old, And at that point, and I sat down and I'm being extra careful, like shuffling these things really carefully, and she thought it was so cool. She's like, oh, I can't believe this, So after that though, I walked away from that and I'm like, damn, if that lady can make a fucking deck last 45 fucking years, why am I getting rid of a deck just because it shuffles funny once? That's when I really started thinking, no, you know what? I think I'm going to just see how long I can make them last, So I still have been replacing my decks out of boredom, but I don't buy them just because they get a little old and stick one time. I'm like, no, my decks, I'm going to shuffle them until they fucking rip, So I've changed that recently. Whoever asked that how often I buy new decks, I changed that, used to very frequently, very, very, very frequently. I don't know how many thousands of dollars I've spent on tarot cards over the past couple of years, probably several thousand, and now though, not quite so much. But did I tell y'all, dude, this is my latest deck, the Encore Tarot. And I don't even know how to pronounce this. This is like, from what I've seen, one of the most famous people to create tarot decks. Ciro Marchetti, the same person that makes the Gilded Tarot, same person that made the Tarot of Dreams. Very, very famous, very well known. And for whatever reason, this deck and the other one, if you go to their Etsy store, they have 3 special decks. The Encore. I don't have the box to this one up here. They also have this one here, which is the Retrospective Tarot. I don't have the box for that. That one's downstairs. But it comes with a signed card. I showed you all this. Those of you following me on Instagram, a signed card comes in it, And that's a legit sign with a marker, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 98% sure. That's like literally hand signed. I'm like, whoa, that's cool, dude. Not getting rid of this one, sorry. Not getting rid of this one. Hang on. These cards are badass. And it's got a signed card, so I can't get rid of it, you know? They got the gold, they got the red. This one here's got the red on the sides, you know, and they're glossy. And essentially what they did was they went through for this one and took a bunch of old designs from a lot of the previous decks, like from the Gilded Tarot and from the Gilded Tarot Royale and from a lot of their older decks, and they mixed them all in together, you know? They got some new designs and some old designs that they have on other decks, and they remastered it. There's the Seven of Wands. That is, I can't remember if that's Gilded Tarot or Gilded Tarot Royale, but you see that? How that Seven of Wands is remastered and redone. The Star card, you see? The Fool is totally different though. That's cool. But this is one of the decks that I ain't getting rid of. I have a list of decks that so far this is the third one on my list. I have an old one of these. For those of you who are into the tarot and you've been reading for a long time, you remember that back in the day, they used to make these the most paper thin, flimsy little cards that you know, back in the day. And then they sometime over the past couple of years, they changed the card stock. Okay, they started making it out of thicker card stock. So these, and this isn't the deck that I'm talking about. I have that one in my room. I still have one deck from back in the day that's the extra super duper thin flimsy card stock before they started thickening it up and completely changed the whole feel of the deck, you know? Not getting rid of that one. And I have an older Gilded Tarot that I'm not getting rid of either. And when I bought this one, probably these two came with a signed card as well, you know, which I thought was just super cool. I wouldn't imagine, I don't know. I just thought that was cool. So what, they have their own Etsy store. So this person just sits and signs the card before they package it up. Because with this deck here, the signed card wasn't in the box. It was outside the box laying, you know what I mean? As soon as I opened the package, it was just packaged up in regular USPS packaging. And it had this box here and then the signed card laying, you know, so it's like, oh, okay, they just take a card and sign it and put it in there with it. I wouldn't imagine this person knows who I am. I wouldn't think so. I mean, it's possible. I'm not saying that I wouldn't imagine though, like if I made tarot cards for a fucking living, I read tarot cards for a living and I don't know who's reading tarot out there. You know what I mean? Because I don't watch tarot card readings anymore. I just haven't. I haven't actually been a tarot viewer, you know, for 2 years, 3 years, you know, like watch the readings to gain clarity on something in my life. You know, my love life is just fine. You know, I'm in a relationship that I never could have dreamed. You know, I'm in a I'm very happily engaged. So I don't really have and my career is just fine. You know what I mean? I'm very financially well off, and I've manifested abundance in my finances and in my love life. So I don't really have a reason to watch tarot card readings, you know? So I wouldn't imagine that this person knows who I am. I wouldn't think. So if not, that's cool. That's cool that they did that, you know? But maybe there is the possibility too that this person just saw my name and recognized me and said, oh, let me give you a signed card. I don't know. I highly doubt that though. I highly doubt that. It'd be cool to think that though, you know? That would be cool to think that, but anyway. Anywho, yep, this is one deck I ain't getting rid of. Sorry. Not getting rid of this one. We did sell the eBay ones. That does pretty good, man. That does pretty good. See, here's the thing. I always want to be able to give decks to people, you know? But do you know how much of a migraine it is? How do I pick who I'm going to give the decks to? You know, first of all, how am I going to pick them? You know, that's what I've always been like, okay, well, what do I do? I need to get them engaged in some kind of, you know, something. Email me with I remember this one time, When I did my 100,000 subscriber giveaway, I said, there are no rules. There are no rules. Just hit me up, and I don't care if you want to tell me what inspired you to watch me, or if you want to, I don't care. There are no rules. Just hit me up in the email, and I'll just pick 3 of you, you know? And then people started drawing portraits of me. And I was like, oh shit. So this one person that drew, I don't have any of them up here, but drew portraits of me. And I was like, holy fucking, okay, I'll give you a deck for that, you know? But the past few times I'm like, man, I cannot think of what to do. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for my 300,000. So I got a few decks in mind for my 300,000 subscriber milestone, which is just right up around the corner. And I can't think of what to do to get people engaged. You know what I mean? I can't think of what to do. That's the hard part. How do I pick people? Like, based on what? You know? I might just do another no rules. But then again, the email inbox. Thousands and thousands of emails, you know? So, anyway, I do have a list of decks. This is more than likely going to be one of them. This one here, the Everyday Witch. I like this one. It's one of the furthest from the Rider-Waite that I've ever actually liked. See that World card there? Normally, typically any other deck like this, I'd be like, fuck that, get that deck away from me, you know? It's like this, the World. What's that have to do with the World? You know what I mean? What does that have to do with the World card? This chick sitting on a beach. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, this deck right here, I just really love. I really vibe with it. The Everyday Witch, here's the box. I really, really, really vibe with this deck. I love it. One of my favorites. And it's nothing like the Rider-Waite. Nothing like it. But there's cats in every single one of them too, you know? There's cats in every one. Well, I guess some of them are kind of sort of similar to Rider-Waite. Some of them are kind of similar. Like there's the Devil. That's a pretty cool Devil card, you know? King of Wands. Looks like he's teaching his cat something geographically on the map or something. I don't know. The Two of Swords. This one's a weird one. Okay. This is a really weird one. What's this have to do with your typical Two of Swords? You know, she's throwing daggers. She's playing darts with daggers. You know what I mean? Eight of Swords, very similar. Very, very similar. And yes, I have been thinking more and more and more about teaching a tarot class. It's getting real close. We're getting real close to me expanding my career beyond just reading tarot on YouTube. Here's another thing too. Here's another thing. I was invited. I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for y'all, okay? But nothing's written in stone right now because we're still kind of hanging in the limbo, wondering whether or not we're actually going to do it. I was invited to teach a class on manifestation here at a local spiritual store right up the street. There's the spiritual store that it's kind of, the spiritual store itself isn't really that big of a deal. You walk in, they kind of have a small selection of some crystals and sage and incense. But then in the back, there's all these big like rooms where very well-known people in the spiritual community will come and do seminars and teach classes and whatnot. And we just stumbled in there one day. It was just to see, let's just go see if we can get some crystals or find a tarot deck or whatever. We just like to go to spiritual stores sometimes. And I'm not even paying attention. I'm just la, 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 la. And Leah, like I said, she's a social butterfly. She's talking to the owner, the lady that runs the place. Next thing you know, I'm being invited to teach a class on manifestation in November. You know, so it is something that you have to pay for. And if I'm like not 100% sure that I'm going to do it, you know, I'm about 75% sure that I'm probably going to go ahead and do this. It is something that you have to pay to attend. And I don't really even know how all that works. I don't know how much the shop gets, how much I get. I don't even know. Don't even know all those details yet. But that will be announced. Okay. And there's not very many spots. It's only like a 25 people, you know. So I've really been, like I said, it's getting closer and closer to where I'm going to start branching out and start doing different things, you know. And I've known this in my heart. I've known this. And to me, this was the very first universal nudge. You know, I've knocked on the door a couple times. For those of you who have heard me explain my analogy, whenever you want to make it through a doorway, you knock on it. You know, you have to first walk up to the door to see if you can trigger the motion sensor to get it to open. And I'm using a metaphor here. This is metaphorical. And if it doesn't open, you turn the doorknob. And if it's locked, you got to knock on it. This means if I want this doorway to open, I have to start taking action in that direction. I've done that a few times. I've knocked on that door a few times and released it and said, okay, well, whenever you get what's on the other side of that door ready for me, let me know. Because I got that type of relationship with the universe. You know what I mean? That's the way I roll. And the other day, it was about a week ago, I got my first nudge, you know, public speaking. I've just known, that that's where I'm not going to say that's where my career is going. I'm not saying that that's all I'm going to be doing, but I've just known that is on the horizon for me. You know what I mean? Actually, speaking in front of a live audience, you know, which will be completely and totally different than this right here. You know, like I've said before, whenever I've met subscribers in real life, one of the most popular things that people say is that the only thing different about you is that you're quiet. You know, as far as your personality, whenever you get to talking and whatnot, you're no different. You act just like you do on camera, but for the most part, you're quiet in real life, you know? So that's the thing. I'm not social. I'm really not. And that would probably surprise a lot of people because I seem on camera like probably the most social, bubbly person. But you got to understand what it feels like on my side of the camera. I'm sitting in a room by myself. Ain't nobody in here. As far as I know, I'm just sitting here talking to a phone, you know? It's easier for me to sit here and how many people are in here? And there ain't even, this is a tiny little audience. There's only 54 of you in here right now, you know? The other day when I was doing my all signs video, there was 1,000 people in the room, you know? It didn't feel like no 1,000 people. This doesn't feel like 50 people. It's easier for me to get on here knowing that I'm talking to 50, 100, 500, 1,000 people than it is for me to talk one-on-one with one person, you know? Much easier. Much easier. Much easier. And you know what that means, right? That's what I got to start doing. If it's outside my comfort zone, that's where I need to be. That's where growth happens. That's where evolution and expansion happens. So, am I nervous? Hell yeah. That's going to be very, very nerve-wracking to stand in front of an audience of 25. You know what I mean? 25 people. The thought of that, it freaks me out. It makes me a little bit nervous. Sit in front of a camera with 1,000 people watching. Nothing. That's nothing, you know? Stand in front of 25 actual people face to face. That's going to be a little bit different. You know what I mean? Going to be a little bit different. So again, just to spoil it, that's a possibility. That's not even 100% written in stone. I still got to submit a paragraph, you know, and I'm probably going to interview the lady. I'm going to interview her for her business. She's also an Aquarius. She's a very interesting character. And she owns, I'm pretty sure she's the owner of the spiritual store right up the street here in Henderson. And she's got, from what I've gathered, it's a pretty interesting little business. It's a spiritual shop where she does sell crystals and like sage and incense and singing bowls and whatnot. That's where I got my singing bowl I just got. And she has popular spiritual public figures come and teach classes and do speeches and give seminars and whatnot, you know. Like there's, and I'm pretty sure Leah signed us up. I think in October, there's going to be like a new moon class or something like that, or a full moon, something about full moon manifestation, a class on that. And there's people teach classes on meditation and all kinds of stuff, you know. And I was invited to come teach manifestation. So, like I said, I'm 75% sure we're going to do it, but don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it because it's not written in stone. No papers have been signed or none of that. So just to let you all know a little idea. Now, if this was written in stone, I wouldn't be telling y'all right now. That's one thing about me. That's one thing about me. I'm very, very particular what everybody knows and what everybody doesn't. The things you know about me are the things that I allow you to know about me, you know? Because if this was written in stone, you know, it would be very, very, very strategically planned out. Because as soon as people know your plans, they throw energy at you, whether you know it or not. I'm not saying that I'm afraid of people using black magic on me. They do it all the time. You have no idea how many energy attacks I have to fight off every single day from people who actually do use black magic on me. And I'm getting pretty good at it. Getting pretty damn good at it. I'm not even talking about that. Not even talking about that. Whether you even realize it or not, you are throwing energy at me, you know? So I'm very, very particular when and what you know. If this was written in stone, I wouldn't even have told you yet, you know? So, yeah, I don't mind you all knowing now. I don't mind you knowing. So, anyway, if it does get written in stone, I will be announcing it at a date that is a little bit closer. A little bit closer. You know, like I said, it is a paid event, but I don't know. Anyway, no landing point for that. I'm debating on whether or not I should have a coffee. How much time we got? We got about 15 minutes, okay. All right, I'm gonna get some water though, hold up. All right. Okie dokie. Now, I'm not doing the coffee. I'm going to go ahead and hydrate. I already had me a cup of coffee. I'm going to go ahead and get me some hydration. It's really easy to dehydrate living in the desert. It's really easy. Really easy. I underestimated it, you know? How easy. I mean, dude, you won't even realize it. You know, you go too long living in the desert without drinking water, you know, it scared the hell out of me about 2 weeks ago. And you want to make sure you got your minerals replenished too. This was on a Sunday. I think I might have told you all the story where we went out and we did her farmer's market. You know, we did her farmer's market, which was about 6 hours sitting outside. But I was drinking water, chugging water. Probably drank about a half gallon of water. And then I went to the gym and ran 3 miles. And I was so dizzy, I couldn't even walk. I was like, oh, I couldn't even stand up. You know, scared the hell out of me. Turned out that I wasn't just dehydrated. I got dehydrated, but I flushed all the minerals out of my system by just drinking water. So I had to fucking drink Pedialyte and pink Himalayan salt water, you know, with lime water with pink Himalayan salt to kind of bring me back to, I was so dizzy and like the world was spinning, you know what I mean? So I drank all that water and it flushed all the minerals out of my body, you know? And ain't no joke living in the desert, man. Ain't no joke. When I very first moved to the desert, I started getting nosebleeds like crazy, scabs up in my nose, just randomly in the middle of doing something, bam, blood started running out my nose. I'd be like, oh shit, you know, dries and cracks and shit, you know. Yeah, I see now how important hydration is. So I definitely got to get me some water in. Definitely got to get me some water. But anywho, where am I from originally? New Albany, Indiana. I'm originally from New Albany, Indiana, which is right on the border. It borders Louisville, Kentucky. So usually when people ask me where I'm from, I'll just say Louisville because that's easier to understand. It's basically from where I am right now. I live right now in Henderson in Las Vegas. And I can look out my window and I can see the buildings on the strip, you know? So if I leave right now, depending on traffic, I can get downtown to the strip in maybe 15 minutes, you know? So that's about the same distance that I grew up from Louisville, Kentucky, you know? Hop on the highway, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're in Louisville. So I'll just say Louisville, Kentucky, but I was actually technically born and raised in New Albany, Indiana, which is just right across the bridge from the Ohio River, you know? So I did spend the majority of my adult life living in Kentucky, though. But yeah, live in Vegas now, specifically Henderson, okay? Specifically Henderson. Not the other side of the strip, not North Las Vegas. Not North Las Vegas. No, 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 no. Oh, no. And man, remember I mentioned this about a month or two ago in one of my chats? I mentioned this, and I said, man, I wouldn't live in North Las Vegas because it looks gross. It's just every time I go there, it looks fucking nasty, you know? And I didn't want to offend anybody that lives there. And then somebody in the comments was saying, I live in North Las Vegas, it's not that bad. So I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, I'll hold that space. Maybe I just go to the wrong areas or whatever. I'll be damned. About last weekend, I think it was, we went to North Las Vegas again, and it was just, every time I go there, it's trashy, dude. And I mean, just, you look out the windows and just trash all over the ground, man. You know, just like people just take trash bags and rip them open, and there's just trash everywhere. And every time I've gone there, it does not look like a place that I'd want to live. So we live on the other side. The strip goes down this way. And on one side of it, you have Summerlin, North Las Vegas, and all that stuff. And on the other side, you have Enterprise, I believe. And I'm in Henderson. I'm a little ways out. So here, it's real pretty. Real pretty and kind of classy, honestly, you know. I do live in kind of a classy end of town. Matter of fact, I think I told you all this. Mike Tyson lives right up the road. Yep, he's got a house right up the road from me. Yep. I didn't even believe that when I first heard it. I was like, nuh-uh, nuh-uh. And then I looked it up, sure enough. He said he has a house in Henderson, Nevada. And I was like, I'll be damned. Right up the road here. I could get in my car and drive to his neighborhood in like 2 minutes, you know? Just right up the street. So, yeah, we live in a much, much prettier, cleaner, you know? And there's HOA here. So my neighborhood, you know, it's HOA, so it's very, very nice and pretty, and everything is all prim perfect, you know, which is very, very different than, it's even nicer than the neighborhood I grew up in, you know. I grew up in a decent neighborhood, but I've lived most of my adult life in ghettos and the projects and you know what I mean? Most of my adult life, into my 20s and whatnot, in ghettos and whatnot. So this is a completely 180-degree turn from now I'm in my 30s. My life is in every way, shape, form, or fashion completely transformed from my 20s, you know? In my 20s, didn't matter where I went, because the frequency that I was on would attract the same places and the same people no matter where I went. So I had to learn firsthand that just moving doesn't change your life for you. You know what I mean? Just moving. I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn firsthand, you know? Get up, all right, let me move 1,000 miles away to a city where nobody knows who I am. That'll change my life. Oh, no, it didn't. I still ended up attracting a house in the ghetto with, you know, drug addicts and drunks I was surrounded by, because I was an alcoholic too. You know, so I just, no matter where I would go, I would attract all the same kinds of shit, you know, until I really, really, really started actually changing what's going on in here. Then that's when everything out here started to change, you know. Then that's when, see what I'm saying? So anyway, didn't have a solid landing point with that. And again, I'm not trying to offend anybody that lives in North Las Vegas. I don't go there very often. I don't know. I haven't seen very much of it. I haven't. So I'm not, like, if you live in North Las Vegas and you live in a nice, clean area around there, I believe you. But I just have not seen that end of North Las Vegas yet. For whatever reason, whenever we find ourselves going there for something, it's kind of trashy and nasty over there, you know? So I don't know. But anywho, it's going to be about time for me to hop up out of here in a couple of minutes. Yep, got to change your frequency. Absolutely. Absolutely, positively. Smokey Robinson? Is that like a sports player or something? I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I have no idea who that is. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. I know that, well, I think he moved. I'm not sure if he still lives in Vegas, but a shitload of celebrities live here, dude. Lots and lots of celebrities and YouTubers live here. A lot of them, you know, a lot of them. It's not uncommon at all to hear. But when I very first moved here, I wasn't really, that I hadn't wrapped my mind around that when we very first moved here. Like I said, we didn't choose to move here. We had to, the only reason we ended up here in Vegas is because we got my kids back. We were living in a little teeny apartment down in Arizona. And then we got my kids back very unexpectedly. It was kind of like my ex-wife's family hit me up and like, you got to come get your kids. They're not doing good. They're not in good shape. Their mom's strung out on drugs and it's bad. You got to come get the kids. And for them to contact me and tell me that, you know it was bad. You know it was bad. Her family would not come tell me to take the kids away from her unless it was bad. And it was getting bad. So I was like, okay, you betcha. So January 1st, 2020, we was flying out to Louisville to get the kids. So here we are, me and Leah, 2 kids, 2 cats, and a little teeny apartment. Right then is when all this lockdown horse shit started happening. And no place would let us in. No, we looked everywhere. We looked everywhere in Bullhead City. We looked at Lake Havasu. We almost got a little house in Lake Havasu City, and then somebody snatched it out from under us. And we looked all over California. No place would let us in because it was right when this stupid lockdown horse shit first popped off. And then she just finally came to me one day and said, I don't know if you're going to like this idea, but what about Vegas? And I said, at this point, I don't give a damn where we go. She goes, well, I was looking and there's some really, really nice looking houses in Vegas. I said, I don't give a damn at this point. I don't even care if we go to the East Coast at this point, you know? But she wanted to stay closer to her family. So we wanted to kind of try to keep it in the area, you know, so that it's like a 3-4 hour drive to her parents' house, you know? So this isn't too far off from that. It's just like an hour away from where we were, you know? So lo and behold, this is the first place that let us in. We applied for dozens of houses, dozens. And this is the first one that would let us in. And we didn't even get to tour the place. We didn't even get to come see the place until the day we moved in, you know? That's how, during that time period, everything was, you know? We went ahead and talked to the people. We were still in Arizona, paid everything, boom, boom. We got our move-in date. I don't even know what the hell this place looks like. There's pictures online, you know, so I could kind of look at the pictures and it looked beautiful, it looked gorgeous, you know, from the pictures that I saw. We still never even got to fully see it until the day we moved in, you know? So anyway, what point was I making with that? I don't even remember. I don't remember what point. I had a landing point and I trailed off and forgot about it, but anyway. Oh, yeah. That's the only reason why we even ended up here. So when we very first moved here, I hadn't fully wrapped my mind around, you know, that this is a very, very famous city with a lot of famous people that live here, you know. So when I first started hearing that, I was like, what? Mike Tyson lives up the street, right up the street? I could walk to his house. You know, I could, it's probably I could probably walk to his house in 20 minutes. I was like, no way. Yep. Thought that was pretty cool though. The lead singer, what I was going to say was the lead singer of Five Finger Death Punch lived here. You know, but I think he moved. I'm not sure if he's still in Vegas or not. I don't even follow him anymore, but yeah, it's not uncommon at all to hear that. Not uncommon at all. So, yeah, that was perfect timing. It was. And even thinking back on it, we didn't realize it at the time, you know. We didn't realize that, you know, we didn't even plan for it. The only reason that we picked him up on New Year's Day 2020 was because we had to wait till after the holidays, you know. Because if we wanted to pay like $1,100 for a plane ticket during Christmas season, you know, so I was talking to my ex-in-laws, and I was like, well, can it wait till after Christmas? Is it that big of an emergency? And they said, that's fine. You know, they'll be okay for a week or two. I said, okay, well, we'll make it January 1st then. Excuse me. We'll make it January 1st then. So that's the only reason we even did that, so that we could get a, you know, $250 plane ticket as opposed to like a $1,200 plane ticket or whatever. So Yeah, and looking back though, thinking back on that, it's like, dude, wow, that was the most divine ass timing. You know, most people on New Year's Day, they're like, yes, new year, new me. My life is gonna change. And I can honestly say that was the year, you know, at least for my kids. They had no idea. My kids didn't even know I was coming to get them. They didn't even know. They didn't even know. I just showed up and their eyes lit up real big because they hadn't seen me in 3 years, you know, and I was like, you're coming to live with me, you know, and their life would be forever changed and our lives were forever changed, you know. So it was amazing, divine ass timing. Totally cool. But anyway, y'all, it is about time for me to hop up out of here. Speaking of the kiddos, it's time for me to go get them up so they can get ready for school. So anyway, this was kind of a random spur of the moment. I just happened to get up early this morning, so I got on here and chatted. So I'm up now, pumped, ready for the day. Get back to go get the kiddos and grab me a little bite to eat. I'll see you. Like I said, I got a big old workload on me today, so I'm not sure when, but I'll do the best that I can to bust out the weekend forecast on my main channel today. All right? Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.